Hi, this is my first attempt at doing a video review and I've chosen Batman Fluxx from Looney Labs to try it out. I'm using a basic bridge camera, so the sound might be a little bit poor, but then if it is, you don't have to listen to my voice too loudly, which is a good thing. Right, if you haven't played Fluxx before, then this is a good game to start with. In fact, any of the range of Fluxx games is a good game to start with because they all use the same basic principle mechanic. So we'll open the box and we find that we have a rule sheet which details an overview of the game, how to set it up, who goes first, all about the cards, the different types of cards that you get in the game, and frequently asked questions. So it's a card game, as you've probably guessed by now if you haven't played before. If you have played before, you'll be very used to the way Fluxx works. So we have a deck of cards split into two at the moment, and we take these cards from the box and remove what is usually the first card on one of the piles, the basic rules card. As you can see, this is draw one and play one, and that is the basic premise for Fluxx. The cards, there are different types of cards. You have blue cards which are action, and creeper cards which are black, and we'll go through the deck quickly. There are keepers which are green based, and so on and so forth. You've got goals, more action cards, new rules, and as you can see, and then there's a stop back which is a surprise. So the first thing you have to do is to shuffle the cards up, but don't shuffle the basic rules. Don't shuffle the basic rules card in. Keep that to one side. This is not going to be very well shuffled. That will just give it a quick run through. So that's a very poor shuffle, by the way, and you will need to give them a very good shuffle because they do tend to stick together, especially after for the first game, unless you've done an amazingly good shuffle, which I haven't. So now we would deal 3 cards out to each player. Determine who's going to be the first player, and let's say I'm going to go first. I look at my cards, and the rule is draw one and play one. So I draw a card from the deck, add it to my hand. Now I can play a card. At the moment, as you can see, I'm carrying 2 keepers, a creeper and a surprise. Well, the surprise is something you're going to play generally to upset somebody else. A creeper, if you've got that in front of you, you can't win the game, so you need to get rid of it. And unfortunately, the creeper is an immediately place and redraw. So if you get the creeper, you have to place that and you have to redraw. And unfortunately I've drawn another one, unless I've shuffled these up very well. No, I haven't. Let's give them a little bit more of a move around. Okay, I'm now stuck with, I've got these cards now. The creepers don't count as having played one because that was a law that unto themselves. Fluxx is a law unto itself. So now I could put a goal card up, which would go over here with the basic rules, and this means that if anybody has got the poison ivy or the Riddler in front of them as keepers, then they would immediately win the game. And my keeper there as Batman. Now he will stay in play throughout the game, and he's got a special rule which is once during your turn you can discard any villain, and some cards are villains. So that would be my turn, and we would go on to the next player's turn, who would do the same thing. He would look at his cards. Now he could do a goal again, or he's got an action. First off, he's got to draw one, so he's got black tie bad guys and the penguin. So this actually means you can win if you've got the penguin in front of you and Two-Face. But that would change the new rules in play. There aren't any. That's not particularly good ones to hand to have. So we'll throw that one out as a goal and carry on. And the next person picks his cards up. Again, action reset. Action is rules reset. Not a very good one. He could change the goal. So the goal is now a utility belt, Batarang, Batman's cuffs. Fourth player, sorry, would go via card. Right, now we've got some interesting cards in this hand. The action is to draw two and use them. So immediately, if he decides to play this card, which we will do, we'll play this card over there as a discard pile, over there as a discard pile. Then it's draw two and use them. And he picks them up, he must use them straight away. So he's got to be careful here, because he's got to use them. So he can trade hands with somebody, or he can draw three cards and change hands with somebody. Now he's got to use them both, but this is where Fluxx becomes fun. If he plays that one, he can get three cards, then he has to trade hands with somebody else. If he does that one, he trades hands. He's then giving away the action card, which means basically he can't use it. So you have to make the rule on that is, does he actually have to play that one? Because the rule says draw two and use them. That's as I say, that's Fluxx. You have to make your mind up. In this hand, in this case, I would probably just trade hands with somebody straight away, which means that's how I trade with the first player. And I've got these cards in my hand now. I've played one because I played an action card, which was draw two and use them. The rule is still draw one and play one. And there's nothing else I can do. I've got the Batarang now, but I can't put it in front of me because I've already played a card. So we now go over to this one. We'll draw a card. This is draw three and play two of them if I want to, or I can draw three extra cards. So let's draw three extra cards. So now I've got a massive handful of cards, but of course I've played one. And the game carries on like that. A little bit later on in the game, it could change the rule. So the basic rule would be now, if I change the rule, it would be draw four but play one. So in this case you would draw four cards, but you would only be allowed to play one card out of your hand. As I said, these aren't very well shuffled at the moment, but I'm just trying to give you a rough idea on how to play the game. And the game carries on through until somebody has got rid of their creepers, which you can't have in front of you, and has got the cards that are necessary for the goal. Let's try and find this out, whether we've got the keeper there, which is that one, and we want Batman's, we're looking for pink ones, so we're looking for, sorry, we're looking for green ones, we're looking for Batman's, the handcuffs. Of course, they're going to be somewhere right near the end of there we go. So, you wouldn't need to have Batman in front of you, but you could have as well. So the moment I played that one, if I already had that one down already, that's the rule. The goal in this case is to have those two. I've got those two, I will win the game. Sounds very simple, it is very simple, but it's a lot of fun because the new rules can always be played on your turn. If you play a new rule, that's draw four, you can draw four, but then you might get a new rule that says something like play two. So now you don't change that. You don't change that new rule because it's a draw. That now becomes a play. This is out of the game at the moment, so we're now playing drawing four and playing two. You might have a new rule again that comes in later. That is play them all. So you're drawing 4 and playing all. And play all doesn't mean just the 4 that you've drawn, it means every card you've got in your hand, whether you want to or not. So a good one this is to, somebody plays the draw 4, play all, and the next person says there's a hand limit of 1. Which means that on your turn you would draw 4 cards from the top of the deck, as per usual, and you would play them all because you have to, and that wouldn't make any difference. But if we would, on this one again, draw 4 and play 2, you would have to play 2 of the cards out of your hand and then discard 1 because you can only hold 1 in your hand. The new rules are that's it. The new rules change the game and keep it in a constant state of flux. It's an excellent game. I've been playing it for the last somewhere in the region of 17 or 18 years. I'm not sure when it was first designed, but I had one of the very first black and white copies, and I got hooked the moment I played it. And there are several, probably in the region of about 15-20 different Fluxx games out at the moment, from Eco Fluxx to Stoner Fluxx to Family Fluxx. There's they've even been a Monty Python Fluxx. It's a brilliant game. It can play in 2 seconds, it can play in 20 minutes. I've had a game where we've actually dealt the cards out. Somebody's played a card that's allowed them to play more than 1 card. They put a goal up and then put 2 keepers down, which were the 2 that were needed, and nobody else has had a turn. That can happen. It doesn't matter. You laugh it off and you start again. So, as I said, it's Fluxx. It's from Looney Labs, and in this case, it's Batman Fluxx, and it's from Looney Labs. Now, last part is, I don't know if you can see this very well. For $1, for $1, you can buy a special card, which is a special creeper. In this case, it's Clayface. Now, Looney do this for most of the Fluxx range, and it's well worth it because it adds another creeper. It adds a little extra piece to the game. You don't need it, but it's good fun to add in. There you go. That's my first attempt. I'm now going to try and edit this. And I'm not very much of an IT guy, so we'll see what we end up with. Or I might just play it straight through and you'll get it warts and all. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you have a good time playing Fluxx in the future.